I'm not sure there, but I am going now, and it looks like I may be having some little technical difficulties. I'm not too sure yet. We will see, I guess, as we kind of go along. I hope you're all having a great night and that you are doing well and that everything is going super spectacular for everybody. I have had quite the week. um, Starting off with some definite office issues that have now been more or less resolved in one fashion or another, which is perfectly all right. It's kind of not what I was expecting, but it's what's happened. And on this topic today, we are going to be discussing leadership and the different styles that would probably come of leadership and just kind of, I guess, my view on leadership. Not that that's really all that important or anything. I think I don't know if I'm really a great expert on it. I just know what I strive for as myself and what I'm trying to aim kind of for a little bit more as well. And what I kind of look for in leadership qualities with others when I'm looking for someone to, I guess, follow as a leader. Um, so, did I think I messed up on something here, but that's okay. I wonder if I can fix it. Things kind of happen, and you can go back in and try to fix things. So, like as I was saying with leadership, that's not what I wanted. I want that one. Say, there we go. Hopefully, we can switch over our YouTube stream a little bit to apply the changes. Shoot. Okay. So YouTube, I kind of messed up on you a little bit, and I apologize for the mix-up. But as a small-time leader myself, I try to just go forward, and if I've made a mistake, I just try to accept it and keep going. Um, it's really difficult to say as to whether I'm doing a good job on that or not, but so some things I look for when I am looking for leaders to follow or when I'm trying to be a leader. Sorry, that's my son's guinea pig, if you can hear that rattling. So one of the things I usually try to express and try to strive more on myself is patience, like I've talked to about once before. So we will see how that kind of pans out across different places. Like I have said, I have talked about patience once before, but it's definitely something I look for, and definitely some leadership qualities as well. One of the things I definitely like with leaders is their willingness to go first. So if you're going to be doing something, you take the initiative and you go to do it first. You don't just throw your people into something and hope that they just kind of succeed. You lead by example. You go forth, you go ahead, you do everything ahead of time and try to make sure that you are doing things before everyone else does. So that way they can understand how it's supposed to probably happen. And that way they are seeing that you are willing to jump in and do something first, and that you are willing to go ahead and show that you are the person to be leading the team. Because if you aren't going first and you're pushing people first, hopefully you have that trust and respect of your people that they are willing to go first for you. If you don't, then going first is definitely the route to go. Because if you go first, you'll actually develop that trust and that respect of your folks that are following you into whatever it is that may be following you to, whether it's like into battle, whether it's through a business, or whether it's just like in an office atmosphere or store atmosphere or whatever it might be. If you're doing things first, then people can see how it can be done and that you are willing to take initiatives on your own. And then people will be more willing to start following you and start putting themselves first as well once they start seeing that you are willing to be like in the trenches with them and working with it alongside them to get things taken care of. So to me, being able to go first and leading out in front instead of from behind is definitely a main leadership quality that I like to see in people that I am working with. And I have some great examples in my life that have come through this options or through this process as well. I've come across a lot of people who do lead from the front, do lead by example, and are really great people to have as mentors and leaders because they are willing to get down there. They are willing to take the time with people. They are willing to sit down and explain processes over and over and over again if need be. They're willing to get out there and do things with people who are just up and coming and learning. They are willing to step out of their comfort zone and try to help in some different kinds of fashions. They're willing to be the forefront to bring you along with them and help develop you into that same kind of style leader that you are probably wanting to be as well. Another great leadership quality that I really find that I like quite a bit as well is kindness. I know not everybody thinks kindness is a really great leadership quality. I really think it is a big leadership quality in a lot of aspects. As for leaders that come around, being able to be kind and showing sensitivity towards others is definitely not a weakness to me. It is definitely a strength because you got to be able to understand what others are going through and be more empathetic towards them. So if you do have that kind of kindness available to you, from you to others, you'll be able to get pretty far with it as well. And that's something I really kind of been striving for, to find more people that are kind people who are strong leaders as well. Now, I know there's going to be other examples that are probably not great aspects of kindness from leaders, but that's just kind of the way their leading style was, and they probably did care in some kind of fashion, and it just probably didn't come off in a great way. They probably cared about, or were passionate, I should say, about something, and the kindness level didn't seem to be there, but it probably was in their own way, which sounds a little odd. And I'm not going to make claims and judgments or anything on how people operate in different ways. But there's always great examples where people seem to come off in a way that really were kind of jerkish, and they were really quite rude and mean to people, but they had a great passion behind them. And whether they were kind or not is kind of another story. The example that always kind of keeps coming forward is always of Steve Jobs and how harsh he was with a lot of people and how he worked people hard to get products to be near perfection like he wanted, like to have them as beautiful products. So there's always those kind of examples, and he had a lot of passion behind what he was doing. And I'm sure there was some level of kindness in there, and he probably cared a lot, is more of what it was, about his people and about the products. Because if they didn't have the same kind of passion or cared the same level as he did, then he knew they weren't going to be the same kind of product. So I'm sure he cared a lot more about the product, which he pushed caring towards other people to make them feel good, to make them, and there's probably a lot of aspects in that. I'm probably just talking about my butt even. I don't even know. I don't know the dude. I don't know anything about him. I haven't had a chance to read his autobiography yet. Nothing. So I'm just saying that I don't even know what I'm saying. I started off on kindness and I somehow ended up on caring. But both things kind of work together. So if you're not really kind, you're not probably really caring either. And if you're not caring, you're probably not the kindest person. So, I mean, I guess kindness and caring go hand in hand, and that's definitely two pieces that work well together. And it definitely doesn't make you a weak leader or a weak person. It actually makes you really strong because there's not a lot of kindness sometimes out in the world. Where all the darkness is, you need that light of kindness and caring to kind of push back the dark and see what's coming up behind or coming up in front. It's something that I find to be really important, and I don't know if there's enough of it out there at this point. Now, there are great examples of wonderful, generous, kind leaders, and I have definitely had time to work with a good mix of those style of people. I've also had the opportunity, I guess, to work with other leaders that are not as good of leaders, and they aren't as kind of come off that way, but in reality they were really out for themselves, which was really too bad because they really seemed like they'd be good, genuine people. But in the end, and it took a while for this to really come to light, they actually came across as people who were very self-centered, very much focused on themselves, and were very much about using other people to get what they wanted. And when I'm saying using, I actually mean like using people, like absolutely abusing and using people to get what they wanted. They weren't in a way using people in a way to help those people get what they wanted, to help them get what they want. Like as a leader, they were legitimately using those people, looking like they were trying to get them to where they wanted them to be. But in reality, it was really very much about using those people to get what they wanted. And there was nothing that those people in the end had besides mistrust in the end, I guess it was. I'm unfortunately I fell out of contact with them, which was too bad. I'm actually going to be trying to reach out to them again here the next little while because really kind of see what I want to see where they're at and see what's happening because the way things kind of went down back then was really quite terrible, and some of the stuff that happened just didn't seem like it was good, and it all came from the leadership of that particular team, and it was really tragic and really sad because it just wasn't anything like nobody really seen it coming right away. It was something that kind of gradually built and gradually built and gradually built until it was unfortunately too late. Now that person has been driven out of that particular business by the company because they found that his moral standard, I guess would be the word to use, was not to can't think of the word, not up to par as to what they would like. So from what I've understood, he has been removed, and I'm not sure what's happened to the team from there. Unfortunately, it's something I definitely want to look into now, especially considering I've kind of gone back into that same company a little bit and was thinking that trying to reach out to them just to kind of see where they're at and seeing if they are still active in that business in any fashion or if they have any interest in being active in that business again. So it's something that I've been looking back at doing as well because I found that it offered a lot of really great leadership stuff. And I really wanted to be able to get back into that and work with it more. So it's something that I think would be good for everybody would be to be able to be brought back together and talk and figure things out more again as well. Another really great aspect from a bunch of different leaders that I've had the opportunity of meeting and getting the privilege of knowing over the last little bit, through whether I've read their books or I've met them in person or I've interacted with them in some sort of fashion. A really good quality that I really like from leaders, and it's something that I've really tried to take on myself because I find it to be such a good important quality is empathy. I know that word gets probably thrown around a lot. Probably a lot of people don't understand what it means. But empathy is just where you kind of feel other people's feelings and kind of understand where they're coming from a lot more. Whereas sympathy is just kind of feeling sorry for them. Whereas empathy, you feel what they're feeling and you understand where they're coming from, and you want to be able to help them in some sort of fashion and get them through what they're going through. And I find that having empathy towards others is something that, once again, kind of goes with the kindness and caring part as well. Definitely is something that makes people more endeared to you and makes people want to be able to trust you a lot more, which is very important as well. So being able to be empathetic towards others is something that is just a huge aspect for what you want to be as a leader. Because if you're not empathetic, you kind of come off as a robot. And who wants to be a robot? It just doesn't make sense. I actually worked with someone not too long ago who I didn't think of that person quite that way until other people kind of sort of pointing at it a little bit. And I started paying a little bit more attention. And especially the last bit before I stopped working with that person, they really did kind of come off a lot more robotic. It was very weird. Like there was very little empathy from that person to others. They didn't seem to care quite as much as I thought they probably did, and it just ended up becoming really weird. I'm looking back, trying to make sure that those other people who were pointing it out weren't coloring my perception on everything. And looking at it, I don't think they were. I think they were trying to actually get me to see what was happening. And now that I kind of see it a lot, now that I see it a lot more, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm like, there's definitely something to this whole idea that that they aren't very empathetic. And when some other stuff kind of happened that was very big for this company that I worked with, it really started coming off a lot more that this person was not very empathetic towards anything. They were more self-centered in the end, which was really tragic because it really soured on the relationship for a lot of different people. Um, I know a lot of people that are still with that particular company, and they like the work, they like the people that they're working with, but that person that's their leader, they're not really big on, unfortunately. So the way somebody was talking to me about it, and the way I kind of described them, was I said they are. If you remember Star Trek: The Next Generation, or any of the current Star Trek movies that don't involve like Chris Pine and all those folks that are the James T. Kirk rendition again in the movies. Um, I referred to this person as being like Mr. Data, where he was still trying to learn human emotions in the beginning and didn't understand how they worked and fit together. So that's kind of how I ended up describing this person, because it was kind of apropos because it seemed to really fit into the conversation and really kind of fit how this person was, because they were very much like, this is how this goes. This is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no empathy here. This is it. You got to kind of suck it up and just deal with it. So it was something that was it kind of just really fit together quite well, as just being able to call the person Mr. Data, because that's the way they definitely worked. So being able to be kind, caring, empathy, leading from the front are all huge qualities of a leader that I definitely want to look for, and not specifically not being a robot in the end. Pardon me. Sorry, I got this cough because I went biking today. I overdid it a little bit. So yeah, it was just one of those things that just ended up kind of making me chuckle, and it was something that was, I mean, kind of ended up making sense in the end. Like, it's just more I kind of viewed it all over, it was the truth. And so yeah, so this person ended up being Mr. Data, which was pretty funny. Um, Another great thing with some of the leaders that I do know is they don't take themselves too seriously, which I find really amusing, because some of them have some really funny stories. They really have no problem telling some of the most embarrassing things they've ever heard. And I just love it because they're so funny. Like, some of these stories are just like, why would you be telling like a group of like 1,000 people this story? And they don't really have a problem with it because it's their story on where they came from and where they ended up being at that point. And some of the stories they're just so funny, and they just don't take themselves too seriously. Like, if they mess up, they're like, oops, and kind of keep going. They're like, that kind of slipped out and was wrong. Like, that didn't sound quite as right as I was hoping. That leaves some bad mental images, stuff like that. They just kind of chuckle it off and keep moving forward. It's something you just want to try and embrace, is not being too serious. Like, right now, I'm like, leadership's kind of a serious thing, but I don't want to be too serious about it because I know I'm going to screw up the more serious I try to be about it. Like, as it is, I'm fumbling over words, and I'm pausing and I'm stopping, and I'm just not probably getting everything across quite as well as I probably should be. But at the same time, I'm having a fun time with this. And being able to have fun with it and not taking yourself seriously is definitely something you want to be able to do, because life's too short to be too serious with everything. So if you're able to step back, take a look, and not be quite as serious about stuff, it definitely helps humanize you more, especially if you're a high level leader that people don't get to see very often or get to talk to very often, or whatever the case may be. If you especially have like a superstar status, then that definitely helps you become more human and look more approachable to people as well. Um, and I've been able to meet a few people that were like that as well, which has been pretty phenomenal. I know one guy. I've had a few chances to meet him and talk with him. Really cool guy. Actually had a really bad stutter and speech impediment for quite a while in his life, and he's actually worked through it and has overcome it. And he's such a great dude. Like, he's really quite friendly, really quite down to earth, and he's in this one business, he's really quite high up there, and he's just, yeah, really really a fun guy and really overcome a lot. And he doesn't take things too serious. Like, he knows he's got the stuttering, and he laughs, and he works with his brother as well, and they laugh and they have a good time, and they do training together, and they call themselves different funny little names, and they're like this whole other little show all unto themselves when they're training things because they interact in such a way that's actually quite hilarious. So they have a good time, they have fun. They're really quite nice people. They're kind, they're caring. They seem to have quite a bit of empathy as well, and they're just so much fun. It's just something I really enjoy a lot with a lot of different leaders that I've gotten to know. One of the big things I really find with leaders, and this is something where I know I struggle quite a bit with this as well, is focus and determination. As a leader, you got to really have focus and determination. Those are two things that I find are kind of winning factors for a lot of people. If they have focus and determination, they do get quite a bit further. Whereas I definitely have times where I lack focus. I do lack determination sometimes, frequently, even. Like, I don't know what it is, but I do. I'm just the way I am. And I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to be more focused. I try to be working on being more determined. I'm just trying to work on different things to make sure that I am doing things a lot better. So it is just kind of what I wanted to do. And it's just something I've been working on, and this is what I feel like working on and working with. So it is kind of how I feel about my different kind of leadership styles that I like, and just kind of different ideas that I want. So I thought I would just share that with everybody. And I see I've come up to the 22-minute mark, which is kind of normal. This is usually about where I start cutting things off on the stream. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you had a great time, and I look forward to talking with you more. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great night. And I look forward to seeing you some more. And I will be talking to you all shortly. I am back on in the morning with Morning Coffee with Rob as well. And I hope you all enjoy it. I'm just going to answer some quick questions in the chat here. So I'm just, answering some questions pretty good, pretty quickly. And then I am probably going to have to head out here in the next little minutes. So if anyone wants to kind of continue on chatting, I am also available on social media with the tag Eldorado, and that is pretty well everywhere that you can find me. I am fairly active on Twitter, on Instagram, pretty active on Facebook there as well. So if you ever want to hit me up on one of those places, I am available in any one of them. And that's kind of sorry guys, I've had kind of a long day and week, or else I would totally hang out more here. All right, just hold on one moment here. I just gotta find someone here real quick. Blah, 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 blah. I just gotta see if I can find this person here really fast. It's also a great way of oh, hey, there's a lot of Tambian people on here. Like, you gotta be a little bit more specific, I think, dude. You know what? I will also throw in being able to find me on Discord. How about that? Because I do have Discord kicking around on here. Just give me one moment here, and I'll find you guys the information for it all, and I'll send it off through the chats here as well. Just give me a moment here. Hold up, hold up. Here. SGH7. There. I mean, Discord there. So I'll throw that into my info there as well. If you guys ever want to hit me up on Discord, you are more than welcome to as well. Nervous? No, not really, man. I have not had a rough past. All right. Anyway, I am going to head out. I do have to get some sleep. I have children I've also got to pick up in the morning from their mom. So I thank you guys for all joining me. If you want to be able to join me on social media, I've left my tag there as well. And I do have to run. I have to get some sleep tonight. I am pretty exhausted. And I will chat with you more. All right. I hope you guys all have a great night. All right, guys. I've left all my information there so you guys can all follow me up here. I love you all back as well. Don't you guys worry. All right. Thanks for showing up. I will talk to you later. Have a great night. If you want to join me for coffee in the morning, I am on at 6 a.m. Pacific, and we just kind of sit, chat, have some coffee. Nothing really spectacular. All right, guys. Adios. Have a great night.